Before this video starts, I just want to send a quick little message to Snezana Radovanovic. For those of you who are not aware, this past Monday, she reached out to me on Twitter to say that her mum had sadly died of cancer, and she's currently grieving at the moment, and she won't be on social media for a while. So I just want to send a quick little message to say, if you're watching this, Snezana, everybody here at GP4 OC sends our thoughts and prayers to you and your family through this difficult time. Take all the time you need off from social media, and this race is dedicated to you and your family. Again, my condolences towards you and your family.
Welcome everyone to the 17th round of the GP4 Offline Championship 2014 season. We're here for the US Grand Prix in Austin, Texas for round 17, where the title could be won here today. It's the third time that the race will be held at COTA, with the other two races being held at Indianapolis back in 2006 and 2007. Both the races have had the fastest lap set by Jay McKenzie, funnily enough. And 6 current drivers have raced around both Indianapolis and COTA: Joseph Willis, Will Miller, Jay McKenzie, Waze, Kuba, Alex Southgate, and Nicholas Gow. As said below, the title could be decided today. There's a certain number of circumstances that it could be set, but there's not too many. But anyway, the lap record set by Joseph Willis back in 2013, last season, of 1:38.0, 56 laps there will be, 20 corners. Personally, one of my favourite circuits on the calendar, and one of the drivers' favourite circuits as well. So I'm very much looking forward to this race. The tyres we'll be using will be the super soft tyres, and the driver of the day was given to Florian Volker, who got himself a very good P2 last time out. But anyway, that was last time. That was the last race, and now we're going to have a look at the starting grid for the US Grand Prix. And on pole position, once again, it is Waze Cooper for Mercedes, who's one of the drivers who wants to try and keep the title fight alive. On the second row, or in second place I should say, is Will Miller. On the second row is Nicholas Gow for Red Bull and Roman Quagg for Williams, the one man in second place who really wants to stop the title being won today by Jay McKenzie. With Armakar in 5th, Robbie Inescu 6th, with Jay McKenzie down in 8th place, lining up alongside Joseph Willis in 7th, Florian Volker in 9th place, followed by Franco Gamba in 10th, good qualifying by him as well. David Greenwood in 11th position, followed by Rick Gann in 12th. 13th place is Carosa de Rosa for Lotus. 14th is Franco Lopez. 15th is Cameron Anderson for Caterham. 16th place Alex Southgate for McLaren. 17th place Michael Mocha for Force India. 18th place Roberto Gamba for Marussia. 19th place Federico from Trino, not a good qualifying from him. And the same with Oliver Glazer being 20th. And on the last row of the grid, we have Robert Hunter for Toro Rosso and Julius Anderson for Caterham. So there we go, that is your grid for the US Grand Prix. And here is the criteria for Jay McKenzie to win the title. So if he just finishes ahead of Roman Quagg, he wins the title. If Roman Quagg finishes first, he will need to finish 5th. If he finishes second, then McKenzie will need to finish 8th to win the title. And if Roman Quagg finishes 3rd, Jay will win the title. But here are the team news for next season, and we will have 2 returnees, with George Rope being the first returning to the series with Lotus, one of his former teams as well. And Evan Byrne will be making his return to the series in 2015 with the Sauber team. So there we are. So that is the team news of this race. And the weather now, the track will be dry, the sky will be sunny, 0% chance of rain. It will be a beautiful day here in COTA. As here we are now on the grid for the US Grand Prix. Who is going to get the jump into turn 1? It is a fairly long run as the 5 lights now come on. And the lights are out, and away we go. And who's going to get the jump into the first corner? It looks like Kuba's made a great start as they head into turn 1. Miller's dropped back a little bit as they come into the first corner, but Kuba takes the lead. It's been a great start by him. As he comes around, but he goes a bit wide over the curves, actually. And Miller's going to take him on the inside, and he takes the lead. And Waze Kuba has just completely wasted the chance there. He had made a great start and then went wide at the first corner onto the curves, and he's just lost the lead straight away. That's not what he wanted at all. As we look at the rest of the field coming through the SS section, it seems so far everyone has avoided contact, but Kuba is down into 2nd, Gal in 3rd, 4th is Omar Carr. What a start he's made for Forcinia, moving up another place. So he's had a great qualifying and once again has made a great start, although Roman Quagg is trying to make a move into the corner coming out of the back straight, and he makes a little bit of contact with him, but they get away without any damage as Quad goes over the curb, does a little bit of corner cutting there as they go onto the back straight. And there's a wheels off, and there's contact, there's cars off on the side. That is Rick Yan in the Sauber who's off, and there is, I think that is a Lotus, I think that is with him. I'm not sure who it is, but let's see what happens. So it's Rick Yan making a move on David Greenwood in the Lotus, and unfortunately, as they were turning into the corner, Rick Yan trying to turn with all his might, but he just catches the rear of Greenwood's car, and unfortunately that is those two both out on the spot. And as we're looking on board with Cameron Anderson, who, oh my word, has just absolutely crashed into the back of Alex Southgate, used him as his braking point. I don't believe he's actually raced it before, so that's probably why for Cameron Anderson. But anyway, we're looking at Road Quad coming now down on the back straight, heading towards the second sector of the lap. And he brakes, he's down into P5, trying to get past Armar Car right behind him with Ionescu in 6th place as well. And there's another car off, and that is Oliver Glazebrook, who is now off, and I think that's at the same place that the Greenwood Rick Yan crash happened. And yes, it was an and there was contact between De Rosa and Franco Lopez, and then and De Rosa just rejoined right in front of Glazebrook there, and after having made contact with Franco Lopez, and gets over the curb, and then as he tries to rejoin, gets a lot of wheel spin, and unfortunately just catches the end of Glazebrook. As you can see, there he comes round the corner, he tries to turn, but then catches Glazebrook there, and as you can see, the incident between all of those three drivers will be investigated after, well, not after the race, but during the race. So we'll find out what happens to those two. So looking out on board, and there's more contact, and that is Robert Hunter, who is hit in the back by the other Marussia of Roberto Gamba. What a nightmare start it's been for the Marussia so far. They've been involved in a couple of collisions there, but Roberto Gamba is now going to have to go into the pits, and that incident will also be investigated during the race. We're looking at the battle for P4 between Armar Car and Roma Quag, who at the moment has got the upper hand over McKenzie. The title will be going at the moment as he just squeezes past Car round the corner and makes it up into P4. And so at the moment it's looking good for Quag, because if the race results were to finish like this, the title would go to Abu Dhabi. Obviously, there's just 2 races left to go of the season. That was so good, nearly contact there. Thank God Quag moved his car out the way there, otherwise there would have been contact for sure. As now Car is trying to get back at Quag. He's not giving up yet, so they're coming down the straight. He's moving over, but Quag is on the outside, and Car's on the inside. And Car makes it back into P4. Good start to the race. This is McKenzie. And there was contact between him and the Ferrari there of Joseph Willows. And they've managed, and that's exactly what McKenzie doesn't want. He wants to avoid just getting involved in silly little collisions like this. As we're looking at Quag right behind Car, but with Robert Ionescu right behind him as well. As we look at Quag coming onto the back straight, will he once again try and move on Car? He's surely going to have the slipstream, and probably the DRS as well coming on the straight. He's right behind him. He's got the slipstream going to well over 200 miles an hour, over 320 kilometers an hour, and he makes it on the inside. Has he got the move done? And yes, he has. He makes it up into P4. Car goes a little bit wide there as well, which has allowed Ionescu, and I think that is McKenzie behind him, to close up as well. And so he's going to have under pressure from 2 probably faster cars, I would say, as we're looking at them, as Ionescu, a few laps later, is still stuck behind Car. Hasn't had much luck trying to get past him. And will he try and make a move coming on towards the back straight? No, he doesn't. He'll stay behind, but he'll surely get around. Look at how much better he turned in the corner. Car goes wide, actually, and that means Ionescu's passed. So is McKenzie, but McKenzie actually could have a go at Ionescu, who's held up slightly by Car going wide there. He went a little bit wide originally, but then just coming onto the corner, just went over the curbs there and just got a terrible exit. That allowed Ionescu to get through, McKenzie to get through, and I think McKenzie might try and make a move on Ionescu here. Look at the slipstream he's getting right at the end of the straight. Will he try and make a move on the inside? And there's contact. There is mid-contact, and McKenzie, has he spun? And Ionescu has come right into the path of the Ferrari there of Joseph Willows, and that is Ionescu's race done. Oh dear me. And McKenzie, I imagine he'll probably get a penalty for that, as there's an investigation for McKenzie's incident and the incident between Ionescu and Willows as well. Oh dear me, that's not what Jay McKenzie wanted at all. I don't actually know if he had any damage or not from that incident, but anyway, Will Neller comes into the pits as you look, and De Rosa has received a 25-second time penalty for the incident involving Lopez and Glazebrook, so I'm not really too surprised there. Neller, who I believe was the leader of the race, has come in for his stop. I think he was still ahead of the Mercedes of Waze Kuba. As we look coming into the first corner, we look at Roman Quag running in P3, the one driver who wants to stop McKenzie from winning the title, as Roberto Gamba has also received a 15-second time penalty for the incident involving Robert Hunter, not a 25-second like De Rosa did, as we look at the Mercedes of Southgate making a move on De Rosa for P15. So Southgate obviously only has 2 more races to go, as he goes a little bit wide over the curve, and he goes very wide indeed, and that allows De Rosa to go straight back past him there, coming into the last sector of the lap. That was a silly mistake by Southgate. You've done all the hard work by getting past De Rosa on the back straight, but then went wide just a couple of corners later, so not really ideal that, to be honest, but so he'll have to try and recover those positions once again. So he made the move stick there, but then got a tail run, went a little bit wide there, went over the curb, which unsettled his car, but then he locked up horrendously, and that unfortunately has put him wide and lost him the position that he just gained. So he's now going to have to do it all over again. As we look at Nicolas Gal currently running in P2 right now. As we're looking at the battle for P5, this is between Jay McKenzie and the other Ferrari of Florian Volker. And McKenzie's on the inside and he makes the move for P5. So good move there by the Polish driver. The one who can obviously win it here today, as we're looking at Alex Southgate, who gets a poor run coming through the S's there, loses a bit of time to De Rosa in front of him. Not exactly what he would have wanted, but here is the race leader at the moment. Waze Kuba got a 10-second lead over second place, and Julius Anderson has gone wide, coming through the S's there. He was running in 8th place actually, so that's quite surprising. So obviously there's a few cars that must have pitted, but he's made a mistake there coming through. Just went a bit wide there. Skated really wide. Just suddenly lost grip then and went wide, so not particularly good for him. And so now Waze Kuba comes into the pits, and the incident involving McKenzie and Ionescu. There is actually no further action. I'd have to say I'm kind of surprised. I thought honestly there would be something done there, but they've made their decision, so I will leave it at that. So Kuba comes out the pits. He comes out behind Nella, so Nella's already gone past, and Ionescu has received a 5-second penalty, 5-place grid penalty for the causing the incident with Joseph Willows. So I'm not going to lie, I think he'll be pretty annoyed with that one. I think so. But Kuba comes out behind actually McKenzie's teammate, interestingly enough. So Nella has got a huge gap ahead of him in the lead right now. So he's obviously doing the 3-stop strategy, and right now for Nella, it is paying off because he's got a big gap to him. Behind, as we're looking at the rest of the order coming through, as Nella is actually stuck behind his teammate Romain Quag, and I mean I don't know if Quag particularly wants him to go past because McKenzie's only a few places away. So coming onto the back straight, coming through turn what turn is that? It's turn 11, coming onto the back straight, heading towards turn 12. And Will Nella is still going to make the move. He's on much fresher tyres, so he's going to be much quicker than Quag. He's just about getting to the inside. Is he going to make the move stick coming into the corner? And the answer is it's still side by side, so I don't think Nella's quite got the move done yet. Quag is holding his own right now. Wonder if there'll be any team orders, but no, Nella I think has actually got the move done. He's gone around the outside of Quag and makes it into P2. That's a great move by him, but I don't think Quag will be too pleased with it, although, as I said, Nella is on much fresher tyres, so it'll be interesting to see what the teams say. But anyway, Quag is actually going to be coming into the pits this lap, on lap 18. At the moment, he's coming down the back straight right now, heading towards turn 12. So let's see. So he's running right now. He's got a gap to P4. So I think he'll be happy with how this race has gone so far. It's actually Nella's actually taken the lead. Wow, he's already caught up to the back of Miklos Gals, who actually wasn't that far in front was Gals. So Nella goes past Gal and will retake the lead of the race. So right now things are looking pretty rosy for him right now to take possibly. This will be, if he wins this race, Nella, it will be his 3rd victory of the season. As we're looking at Waze Kuba, who's trying to make a move on his teammate Jay McKenzie here. And does he make it stick? And the answer is yes, he does. McKenzie goes wide, or no, maybe not. Actually, I thought he'd have the run there, Kuba, but he doesn't. But he might get the slipstream, will he? And he does go back into a slipstream, and surely he'll make the move. Coming into turn 12, he's just coming down the inside. McKenzie will probably not be too happy about this. This team order is probably frankly going. The teams at Williams and Mercedes will probably be going mental right now with what is going on. As we look at Romain Quag coming into the pits for the first time on lap 19 of the US Grand Prix, and let's see where he comes back out onto the track. He pits from P3. It'll drop a few positions, I think. He pits and comes out in, let's see, where should I say how quick the stop will be? 7.3, not bad. And he comes out on, where's he come out? He comes out in P, where's he come out? P6. So he stays at P6. Just comes out crucially ahead of Franco Gamba in the Toro Rosso, who's got 19 laps of fuels, and I don't believe Franco Gamba has pitted yet, as far as I know. So Franco Gamba, I think, is going to be going on a long pit strategy there. So that'll be interesting to see how he does. Obviously, he scored some points last time out, and I'll be wanting to score more. And let's see. And oh, hang on, there's a car off in front of Carr and Mocho there, and that is Veteran Vadrina. Just saw his car is actually the two Force Indies. Will they both go past him? He's getting very close. One of them goes past him. Mocho goes past him, and Carr can't quite get his nose stuck there. Let's have a look at that again. So, Vadrina coming through the S just got way out of shape and went wide onto the AstroTurf, and then that allowed Michael Mocho to squeeze himself past. Went a bit wide there, trying to get past, and Carr tried to make the move himself, but couldn't quite do it. As now we're looking on board with Carr, we're trying to make a move on Vadrina just before the back trick coming into turn 11. Will he try and make a move on the inside? Carr's on the inside. Will he try and make it stick? He's on the inside. Has he got it? I don't think he's quite got it yet, because I think Vadrina will have the run, and yes, he does, as the Ferrari is now trying to make a move on him on the inside, as Carr's just about got the slipstream of the one ahead, so that might keep him ahead of Willows, and it does just about, I think. Although Willows might still try and make a move into the corner, and oh, there's contact, and oh, there's more contact, and Willows has just knocked Carr into the back of Veteran Vadrina, and that is Vadrina out of the race. That is very, very unlucky there for the Croatian driver. And Ardig just unfortunately see that coming, couldn't you? He was just hoping that maybe Carr would avoid Vadrina's car, but there was the contact right there. I was like, oh no, he's gonna hit the car in front, and right there was the contact. There it was. Oh dear me, that is not good at all. And so the incident between the two, no surprise, well, between the three drivers I should say, will be investigated. So we'll see if Willows gets a penalty for that one. I wouldn't be surprised if he does, but we will see. As anyway, Jay McKenzie comes in for a pit stop, and let's see how quickly the stop will be for the Polish driver wanting to win his first ever World Championship. Become the first Polish driver to win the World Championship as well. And so let's see how quick the stop will be. 7.6 seconds. So let's see where he comes back out onto the track. And let's see, where does he come out on the track? So he's down to P7 behind Franco Gamba and the Toro Rosso. And out he comes on to the track. And let's see where he come, and let's see where he will come later on in the race. So who knows what happens. So things are going, I'd say okay for him right now, but things are going swimmingly for this man up front. Well, now they've got a very comfortable lead over Mikolas Gauer right now, 8 seconds, 8.2 to be exact, but I imagine it'll probably be a little bit more. In fact, 9 seconds it is now. He's gaining by almost a second ahead of Gauer, and Kuba is 15 seconds behind, and oh, Volker's gone wide coming through turn 11 onto the front straight there. It's not good for him, and so well, actually he'll be pitting this lap, funnily enough. So he made a little mistake there. Probably the tyres struggling for temperature. I mean, look at how hot those tyres are there. Coming around the corner, bright. Look how hot the brakes, I should say, are. Very, very orange. As we're looking at Waze Kuba right now in P3, coming around the final corner, heading on to the front straight. He's 3.9 behind Gal, but he's at least 15 seconds behind Will Netto out front, so it's working pretty well for Netto, who's got very good pace, I have to say, as Cooper comes around the first corner, heading towards the S's, probably on the driver's favourite parts of the circuit. We're looking at the battle here for P10. There's another battle behind between a few cars. There's Cameron Anderson, Michael Mocho, Roberto Gamba, and a battle for P12. Anderson's trying to make a move on the inside, but can't quite make it stick, but now Mocho's going to try and make a move on the inside for P13. Can he make the move stick? He's on the inside, and I think he's got the move done, and yes, he has. Moves up into P13. Now he's going to get past Roberto Gamba in front of him, and can he make you don't think he'll be able to make the move stick around here, and no, can't make it stick there. So there we go. So can't make it stick quite there. As we're looking at Volvo coming out of the pits, 5.6. That's pretty quick. Comes out in P8, so comes out ahead of Alex Southgate. Comes out in free air, crucially for him, so that could do him well towards the end of the races. Here's Jay McKenzie, who's catching up to the back of Franco Gamba, running in a very respectable P5 at the moment, but obviously he will still be pitting he'll be pitting in a few laps' time, I imagine. I think he'll be doing a one-stop strategy. And he goes a little bit wide, coming onto the straight, goes a bit wide onto the curb, and yep, McKenzie has made the move stick for P5 there. Gamba will be pitting, actually he's got 15 laps of fuel, so he's still got quite a few laps left, I think. I honestly can't remember if he's pitted or not already. Cannot remember for the life of me. But anyway, as we're looking here, Kuba is closing rapidly up to the back of Gal, who'll be pitting in a few laps' time himself. This is going to do very well for Nella if Gal holds him up, which I don't know if he will, who knows, but the gap is coming down just 6/10 now from 1.6, so he's gained a second. He's been getting a second a lap last couple of laps. He's looking at battle De Rosa trying to defend from Julius Anderson coming through turn 11 onto the straight. De Rosa goes wide onto the curb a little bit as Mocho trying to make a move on Roberto Gamba. Has he done it? He's on the inside. Can he out-drag him towards turn 12? The power of the Force India versus the power of the Mauritian. There's Anderson behind. Cameron Anderson, that is, trying to make it almost 3 wide going into turn 12. He can't quite make it stick. He's going to try and get it through the middle. Surely it's not going to work. He's going to move on the inside of Gamba, and he does make it stick. Can he then make the move on Mocho? Not quite. That was some close racing there, but they managed to avoid contact, which I was fearing was going to happen there. Unfortunately, it didn't. As we're looking at Julius Anderson, who's now right behind the Lotus of De Rosa. And as we're looking at De Rosa, obviously, he'll be making the move from Lotus to Haas next season. As now De Rosa tried to defend. And there's contact. De Rosa's gone way wide, coming through turn 12. He has had some contact from behind, and he's dropped a few positions, dropped down to P13. And so we need to look at the replay to see what happened there. And there was contact from Julius Anderson. And Michael Mocho moved up a place as well. They defended and obviously just came back right into the front of Julius Anderson. I don't think he really could have done much about that, but Mocho took advantage of that, so thanks very much, and made the move past on Julius Anderson. Now Cameron Anderson's right behind him as well. I'm going to be saying Anderson a lot during the race, and Joseph Wurz has received a 15-second time penalty for causing the incident between Carr and Petrino. I'm not too surprised about that one either, to be honest. So as we look at Alex Southgate coming out of the pits as of right now, comes out in P16. I think he's actually already been lapped by Will Nella, who is dominating right now. Kuba, who's now obviously in first place. Look how far he's ahead. I need to see the gap, actually, because that is a huge amount. So this strategy for Will Nella is working perfectly right now. He's just coming in just before the traffic ahead, so it's pretty much going so much better than he could really have expected. But now Kuba obviously is behind, but now Nella comes in the pit, so Kuba will take the temporary lead of the race. So I mentioned Nella will have one more stop before the end. Let's have a look. Yep, 16 laps, so it'll be a 3-stop strategy for Will Nella as he comes out of his pit box, 6.9 seconds off. And actually I saw Nicolas Gals come into the pits as well on the same lap for, I believe, his first stop of the race. And Will Nella comes out in I think it was P4, P5, I can't remember, I think it was P4. And I think this is actually Will Nella trying to overtake Jay McKenzie coming down the front straight, heading towards the first corner. McKenzie's not exactly making it easy for him, and Nella can't quite make the move stick there into the first corner. McKenzie goes on the curb, but doesn't quite run wide there. And so there we go. So will he try and make a move coming towards the back straight? You can't make a move through the S's, it's just not possible. Unless you're a magician, which I don't think Will Nella sadly is. And we've got a yellow flag up, so we're going, my car's gone wide. There's a yellow flag, and there's a car around. That is Cameron Anderson, who's gone around coming through the S's there. Went a little bit wide, and went onto the curb, and then spun around. Oof, that's quite a spectacular spin, and oh no! Oh, well, that could have been very bad there for, I think that was, that it could have been bad, I think, for Will Nella, actually. I think he was right behind that traffic there, and that was so lucky that none of the cars hit him. Could have been bad, actually, for both McKenzie and Nella, but anyway, as we're looking at them coming down the front straight, Nella's right behind McKenzie. He's got the slipstream. Surely he's going to make the move coming down the back straight, heading towards turn 12. He's just about getting to the inside, and he's now on the inside, and he now makes the move stick for P3. And there we are. So, and now he's got his teammate Roman Quagg only a few seconds ahead of him, which he'll close up to very quickly, I imagine. So And oh wow, just in probably about 1.5 laps, he's already caught up to the back of Quag. Will he try and make a move before the back straight? The answer is no, but he'll surely make a move on the back straight. And McKenzie is going to be enjoying this. And oh, Quag's gone very wide there onto the curb and has lost the place. And now that could give a chance for McKenzie if he can get close enough. Can he get the slipstream? I think he just about can. So McKenzie could overtake Quag, and if he does overtake him, then McKenzie is in prime position for the championship right now, because as long as he finishes ahead of Quag, he will win the championship. As now we're looking at the battle for the lead. This is between Waze Kuba and Will Nella. Can Kuba hold off Will Nella as he goes wide onto the curb, and Nella now takes the lead. He'll be pitting in a few laps time, and now McKenzie's battling with Roman Quag, his title rival. This is a move possibly for the title as they're coming down the front straight. As there's Franco Gambra, I've just seen the pit, and actually, although McKenzie actually will be pitting this lap as a matter of fact, and now Will Nella has got past Kuba and has taken the lead of the US Grand Prix. Obviously, he will still have a pit stop to go before the end of the race, but I think so will Kuba. So right now it is looking very good for Will Nella at this moment in time, as Jay McKenzie will be pitting this lap. Will he try the undercut on Romain Quag? And I believe that's probably what he thinks the best strategy is, because if he does, as long as he finishes ahead of him, then he will win the title heading into the next round in Abu Dhabi. And as they're coming through, the left-hander, and wow, that is so coming through into the final corner. Zan McKenzie does indeed come into the pits for, I imagine, his final pit stop. And let's see where he comes out onto the track, because it'll be crucial to him with Quag, because I don't know how many more laps that Quag has before he comes in as well. As we look at McKenzie coming in, let's see how quick the stop will be. And he does indeed go to the end, 22 laps, and changes all 4 tyres, 7.6 seconds stop. And let's see where he comes out onto the track. All we can't see is we're looking at Waze Kuba right now running in second place, as Roman Quag, who is not too far behind him, is now Alex Southgate trying to make a move on Michael Mocho coming down the front straight. As Anderson's run wide coming through onto the back straight, and it's allowed Franco Gambo, who's having a very good race so far, up another position into the points, as Southgate does make it past Michael Mocho for P8. Both these drivers will be pitting in a few laps time for their final pit stops of the race, as Nella currently has a 7-second lead over Kuba, and both of them will be pitting again, but it's looking pretty good, as I said, for Will Nella right now. As we look at the battle for P3, as there's Cameron Anderson, who's said to be lapped. Gal, who's closing up to the back of Romain Quag. Obviously Anderson right in the middle of it here, as Anderson's right behind the Williams there, although Anderson is actually getting out of the way. Oh no, he's not! He's not getting out of the way, and Miguel Gal just hit the back of him there, coming through, and Anderson has spun, and that is, wow, that is not good news for Miguel Gal. Luck just hasn't, unfortunately, favoured him this season. And oh dear me, I think there was a deja vu. I'm pretty sure this happened, was it last season or 2012? I'm pretty sure this happened, and this had implications on the title. It was either last season or 2012, I can't remember, but let me know. But wow, so Miguel Gal, I thought he was going to go around the outside, but it's just, unfortunately, Anderson, he was right on the apex there, and Gal thought he'd slow down more and goes into the back of him, and that spins Anderson around, coming through the right-hander there, and there he goes, and he does eventually rejoin. But the incident between the two will be investigated. And there goes Anderson spinning and gets into the gravel, but fortunately manages to rejoin and does not get stuck, as McKenzie just saw us at the fast step. And now Will Nella will come in for his final stop of the Grand Prix. He's got an 11.7 second lead over Kuba, and obviously he will be pitting once more as well before the end of the race. So anyway, in he comes for his final stop, and let's see how quick this stop will be for Will Nella. It is a let's see, let's wait and see. Straight of all tires goes to the end, 7.8, not particularly fast, but doesn't need to be. Anyway, he comes out of the pits in P, I think will be coming actually ahead of Jay McKenzie, and yes he does, as Waze Kuba now comes in for his final stop of the US Grand Prix. He'll be coming out obviously behind Will Nella. Will he be able to close on the back of Will Nella? I'm not sure. I don't think he will, but we'll see. You never know, but I think Will Nella's pace so far this race has been very good indeed. So I think Kuba will close up, but I don't think he'll be able to close up enough, although his stop is a lot quicker than Nella's, 5.5. And let's see where he comes out on track. As he comes up behind McKenzie, obviously, so he's got to get past him before the end, although McKenzie I think has to stop anyway. I don't think he does actually. As Roman Quag actually comes in for his final stop of the race. And there we go. So let's see how quick the stop will be for Quagga. Where will he come out on track? If he comes up behind McKenzie, then he's going to have it all to do, because if McKenzie finishes ahead of him, then that is going to be the title over for the Frenchman. And he's had such a great season, so much better than pretty much anyone really expected, including myself. I was certainly not expecting him to do this well. But he comes into the pit to make the stop, 8.7 seconds, that's pretty slow. So where's McKenzie? Cooper's in second, and McKenzie's second. He's gone way past, so right now, Jay McKenzie is looking like he's set to get his first ever title, because I don't think Roman Quagga is going to be able to close up to McKenzie before the end. He's got Cooper to get past first, as Florian Volker comes in for his final stop of the race for Ferrari. So he comes in, changes his tyres, and let's see where he comes back out on track. 8.1 second stop. He'll come out obviously in the points. Cameron Anderson will receives a 15-second time penalty for the incident involving Nicolas Gal. So there we go. I'm not too surprised about that. I was going to say if Gal got a penalty for that, that would have been quite ridiculous. As now Joseph Willows comes in for his final stop, and so does the Marussia in front of him. So he will not like it, Willows, if that Marussia comes out ahead of him after the stop. So probably not ideal for him, but let's see how quick the stop is, and that is Franco Lopez, the other one for Marussia, who's come in, the Argentine. Willows changes of all tyres, will go to the end. Will he come out ahead of Lopez? That'll be the interesting thing. 7.4 second stop. Will he come out ahead of Lopez? The answer is... oh, and yes, he does. That's important for him. He does indeed come out ahead of Lopez, although his stop was actually a little bit quicker, actually a bit quicker, but he comes out actually crucially behind his teammate, Florian Volker, so it's going to be interesting to see if they have a battle before the end or not. As we're looking right now, Wade Skipper, who's running in a pretty lonely P3 right now. He's a bit behind his teammate McKenzie, and Quagga is not too far behind, I guess, in P4. As we look at Armar Carr battling with the Marussia there of Roberto Gambrin. Is he going to make a move on the inside into turn 1? And he does. Moves up into 11th place, and now he's got his teammate Michael Mocho, who's currently occupying the last point spot to get to. As we're looking at the battle for P8, this is between Alex Southgate and Franco Gamba, who's had a fairly solid race. Has actually avoided trouble, probably one of the few races this season that he has actually avoided trouble, as he's now on the inside of the Toro Rosso, coming down in towards turn 12, and he does make the move stick for P8, so it's Franco Gamba down in position to P9. He goes a little bit wide there and allows the Caterham of Anderson to go by, but he's a lap behind anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. But anyway, we are now on to the final lap of the US Grand Prix. And so right now I think Warner is leading this race, but we're looking at the battle between the two Ferraris, who have closed up onto each other, coming through, heading down towards the last few corners. They're not a lap behind, I don't believe. I'm not sure actually, as we're looking at Warner, who's coming through the S's for the final time. He's 11 seconds ahead of McKenzie in second, Wade Skipper third, Roman Quagga fourth. So it looks like McKenzie is going to take his first ever World Championship day. But let's just talk about this man, Warnella, first for a second, who's had a pretty flawless race. Took the lead at the start from Wade Skipper and never really looked back. The three-step strategy worked out to perfection for Williams, and Warnella set to take his third race of the season. Third race victory of the season, so actually, so it'll be good for him. I mean, it's just a shame that he's just never won a world title. It's not quite coming to it yet. Just doesn't have necessarily the luck. But as we're looking at the two Ferraris, who themselves actually are starting now their final lap of the Grand Prix, as they're heading towards the first corner. So I think that battle is going to go on during the final lap. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. It's currently Willows in 6th and Florian Volker in 7th. So I mean, it doesn't matter what happens between the two, because they're still going to be teammates next season, although they'll probably want to battle to see who finishes ahead in the points. But anyway, that doesn't matter right now, as we're looking at the race leader. Warner had a dominant race. The three-step strategy worked to perfection for him as he comes round the final corner, coming onto the front straight, and Will Leonard set to take his third victory of the season here at the US Grand Prix. Congratulations to him. But here is excuse me, here is the man of the hour. Jay McKenzie is set to come across the line, and Jay McKenzie is your 2014 GP4 OC champion. Congratulations to him, Champione of the world. Wade Skipper comes across the line in third. Roman Quagga takes P4. Sadly lost out on the title. I'll be pretty gutted about that, but he'll probably be surprised.
Fantastic. 6, well done, brilliant drive.
Yes! That's what I'm talking about! That's what I'm talking about! Back on track.
As I was saying, you'll probably be surprised that he was the one mainly challenging McKenzie for the title. I thought I'd let the radio play out, as he's certainly going to be delighted with that title win, Will McKenzie. So well under him. So Willows actually takes the battle for Ferrari. Where is Volker actually? So he's in P6. So where's Volker? He's still behind him in P7, but he's a few seconds behind. So Willows comes across the line in P6, and Volker is going to cross the line in P7. But I think Willows has the... and actually Volker's coming without a front wing. I don't think it'll actually matter, though, because actually Willows has a 15-second time... Oh, it's a 15-second time penalty. And that is what happened between the two. They had a collision on the final lap, and Volker desperately trying to defend from Willows, and there was contact, and sadly Volker lost his front wing on the curb, trying to rejoin the track there. That is not good at all. So there we are, wow. So, goodness me, that's not particularly what the Ferrari drivers will be wanting. Don't forget, rule number 1, lads, never hit your teammate. It's happened so many times this season. So, oh dear me, not particularly good, so I think they'll particularly like that one. But anyway, they still got both points finishes, but I don't think they'll be very happy about it, as we're looking at the rest of the order coming through across the line. Anderson home in 15th, Franco Lopez in 16th. Alex Southgate will take 8th place for McLaren. I think he'll be relatively happy with that. And Franco Gamba comes across the line in P9, so I think he'll be happy with some points. But here is your champion of 2014, Jay McKenzie. Well done to him. Very well deserved, I think I have to say. Well done to him. But anyway, here is the full race results of the US Grand Prix, with Will Miller winning, with Jay McKenzie in 2nd, Wade Cooper in 3rd, Romain Quagg 4th, Nicholas Gal 5th, Florian Volker in 6th, Willis down to 7th with that 15-second penalty, Alex Southgate 8th, Franco Gamba 9th, Michael Montreal complete the points in 10th with Armor Car 11th, with the fastest lap being set by Jay McKenzie at 1:38.995. The rest of the order being Julius Anderson in 12th, Franco Gamba 13th with his penalty, he remained the same. De Ross 14th with his penalty, remained the same. Franco Lopez moved up to 15th after Anderson's 15-second penalty, who was 16th. With Vegeton Vadrina, Robert Ionescu, Robert Hunter, Oliver Glazebrook, David Greenwood, and Rick Yan, the guys who retired from this race. And there it is in bold. There it is, your champion of 2014, Jay McKenzie, ahead of Romain Quagg is 2nd. So the battle for 2nd place in the championship is still on between Quagg and Nella, and well, Cooper could if he wins the next 2 races. Walker moves up above I should say, Ionescu for 6th, Willis in 7th, Gal 8th, Nicholas Gal 8th, sorry, Southgate 9th, and here's the rest of the order. 12th, Ricky Harkstein will actually finish 12th, despite obviously not participating in the last race of the season. That's been a pretty impressive season by him. Pretty gutted that he's sadly decided to leave, but here's the rest of the order down here anyway. So no movements down there. So despite getting those 2 points, Franco Gamba sadly will remain in last position. Now we're going to take a look at the constructor stand. It will be going to Abu Dhabi, but I think they've just about got it in the bag. Mercedes with Williams in 2nd, Ferrari 3rd, Red Bull in 4th, McLaren 5th, Force 6th, Sauber 7th, Russia 8th, Caterham 9th, Lotus 10th, and Toro Rosso in last position. So there we go. That has been the US Grand Prix, and I have to say that was a pretty good race. And the next time out, we'll see you in Abu Dhabi. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you in Abu Dhabi. Don't forget to vote for, as usual, your driver of the day and get the race rating out of 10. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we will see you there.
They say